everybody. Welcome to another edition of PaynePoints of Interest. I'm Sarah Harbuck, your host, and with me is Michael Payne. And today I wanted to discuss something that I was talking with a friend. Her name is Kristen Ellis, and she works at, well, actually she's like, I guess, the manager for her parents' business, Reed and Associates Environmental Services. She was saying she's got a small child and she's pregnant with another one, and she's like, I'm going to need some stuff to help me organize how to do all this with two small kids. She was like, what were you telling me the other day on how to keep your business tasks organized? And so we started talking about different apps that you can use on your phone, your tablet, your computer that will help you streamline some of your business tasks and help you organize yourself. And the first one I told her was Trello. We use Trello at PaynePoints. It's how we keep everything straight with the podcast topics and the social media and all the things.
Right.
It helps you. It's kind of like little sticky notes in virtual form almost.
Yeah. Well, Trello was actually born out of what are called Kanban boards, which is I believe, a Japanese concept. But the idea was for software developers. A lot is in the work that software developers manage. We have a lot of small tasks that need to be performed by each developer in larger teams, and
trying to keep up with that can be
you put
a job in and of itself.
You just think about it. You put a whiteboard up, and a lot of whiteboards, large whiteboards, are inherently magnetic, right? So what somebody did was they're like, hey, I'm going to take a magnet, put on the back of these index cards, okay, and I'm going to draw columns on this board. And then I'm going to move the cards between the columns. The card represents the task, and it tells you who's assigned to it and how long it's going to take, right? And then the columns represent the state. And so anybody can look at this board at any time and get an idea of where things are at.
Right.
Now, there's a bunch of different uses for Kanban boards, not just in tracking state, but tracking the flow of a process, things like that. So you can actually use multiple boards to organize your business, or you can try to do what we do where we have a large set of things that need to be done on a weekly basis, and we kind of break down those boards into kind of the main areas, the main things, and each card represents something that needs to be done.
Yes. And that's what keeps us straight in, we've recorded this particular podcast and the social media has been taken care of and this one's in progress and what have you. And so it kind of keeps that all going. Because when you have 12, 13, 14 weeks of content that you've got to keep track of, it can get kind of tricky when you've got so many projects on the hopper. And it helps keep you track of what's been done, what's in progress, what needs to be done in the future.
Right.
So I've really enjoyed using it because it's kind of helped me stay organized with PaynePoints, and I've actually used it in a couple of other things that I have to keep track of, different social media tasks and what have you. So
right.
I think it could be a very useful tool for a number of businesses, keeping their daily tasks in line and making sure that they're being completed the way they need to be. Another thing I was telling another friend about was called Canva, and it's more of an online app website you can use to help you create social media graphics. So if you're not a photographer, you're not a videographer, you're not super great at the whole graphic design thing, you can go to Canva and you can pick whatever template you need for whatever social media or whatever you're creating. You can create business flyers or I think pamphlets, and it's got a host of different templates you can use, and just personalize it with your information. You don't have to know any kind of design software. You don't need to know Illustrator or Photoshop or any of that stuff. It's relatively I say idiot-proof, although it took me a hot minute to figure it out because I'm so used to like Photoshop and Illustrator, and this was so much less intensive, and I was so used to something complicated that the simplicity of it was just kind of like, this is all I have to do? Right. It's very weird. So you actually got me onto Canva initially.
Yeah, because here's the thing. When I first started trying to do like videos of myself and started trying to post social media, I was like, I don't have time to figure out Photoshop. I don't have time to try to put these video files together. With Canva, I was able to create social media posts, pull them, download them, post them to whatever I want in minutes.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciated Canva's ability not just to do it on the web, but also do it on my phone.
Yeah.
You know, and I would love to buy some of their premium features. I mean, they're in business, so they're trying to sell stuff. You know, certain stock photography you have to purchase. You know, but that's the other thing about it is Canva brings the stock photography to you.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't have to go searching for it.
You don't have to
somewhere
go trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a one-stop shop for sure. Now, I will say that if you want something like a slideshow or a short video, a company called Animoto, Animoto, is a great resource to make short little 30-second, 1 minute long slideshows, or you can insert actual video clips.
Right.
And that would be another tool to use if you want to have a more video-based social media interaction. So those are two of those kinds of things. Now, one of the things we use to help us schedule the large number of social media posts that we have and all the different podcast topics is Zoho. Mike, why don't you tell everybody about Zoho?
Zoho is it's a suite of products.
Yes.
Okay, so Zoho came along when Google started getting into the whole, you know, you have an account, it gives you an email, it gives you website stuff, you can set up your whole business and manage your whole business through Google. Okay. Zoho came along and said, you know what, we're going to build off that, and we're going to give you the stuff that actually helps you run your business.
Yeah.
We're going to give you accounting software. We're going to give you project management software. They have dozens of pieces of software that you can purchase, and you can actually purchase them all for one price underneath Zoho One. But the one that we're talking about in particular is Zoho Social. Okay.
Oh, right. I didn't realize it was a whole different, there were several different arms.
So many products.
I'm learning something new today.
So Zoho Social is their product that lets you schedule social media, and if you're not going to pay for it, it's not worth it. Okay? But the price is so cheap. You know, and I'd say that to me now. Me a year ago would have been like,
I'm not going to pay for that.
I don't know. Right? $37 a month. Okay, I can schedule as many posts as I want. I can hook up to 10 different what they call brand channels, which is it's one brand and 10 channels. And channels really is like your feed. So if you're a business and your business has an Instagram, it has a Facebook page, and it has a Twitter, right? It's more than enough. And you actually might be able to get away with using their free product, which is also limited to the number of posts per month, by the way. No, I'm sorry, the number of posts you can schedule at one time. Mm-hmm. Like you can only schedule like 30 posts. So if you're doing 4 posts a day, right, that adds up pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, at most you schedule a week ahead. Mm-hmm. You know, that all being said, someone like me where I've got within one brand, I have a Facebook, I have my personal LinkedIn and a company LinkedIn. I have Instagram and a personal Instagram that, you know, CIO Payne is a part of the brand of PaynePoints, you know. And so I have about 7 different things, and it also includes Google My Business. So if you've got a Google My Business listing, you can put posts on there too and schedule them, and you get all the feedback. You know, when you hire a social media crew, and I definitely recommend that people, if you're getting serious about social media, it's expensive. Mm-hmm. It's expensive to create content. It's expensive to schedule content. It's expensive to create copy. Okay. But it is worth it in the long run. The problem with social media is that you cannot see the forest through the trees sometimes. Paid advertising, you start to see a trend after 60 days.
Yeah.
Okay, with good ad copy, good ad creative. Social media, 6 months to a year, but it's free to post.
Yeah.
Okay? Before you start seeing the trends up. You posting 4 times a day, every single day.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to get into that and pay for it, then yes, it is expensive to have a company do it. But those who have done it before know that those companies will provide you every month kind of an idea of what happened. You can get that out of Zoho.
Yeah.
It
tells us right now what our audience was, the active audience, our engagement, how many stories were created, how many people commented, things like that.
Right.
Which, you know, if you're trying to track what sources of social media you're having the most effect on. That will definitely help you.
Yeah.
You know, we get more of a hit on Facebook than we do on anything. So, ish.
Yeah.
Facebook and our website. But it'll tell you that stuff without having to pay a secondary company.
Correct.
All that information.
You don't pay a secondary company for that information, right? You pay a secondary company to do the work. To do the work.
Yeah.
You know, because social media is about interaction, right? And in order to interact, you got to have posts, you got to have copy, you got to have content. You've got to have somebody going out there and literally talking to your potential audience.
Yeah. It's a full-time job, and that's why when you are running your own small business and say you have a boutique that sells a certain type of clothing and you've got to do the day-to-day of business operation, but then you also have to engage with clients online because you can, you know, sell your product online, and you have to post all these pictures of what your inventory is. You know, that's a whole other job set just for one person. And we've learned that here, that it takes several people to make this entire thing happen, and that's why we've hired on some extra help and taking our own advice that we tell our clients, hey, you should do this. We should take our own advice. Mike, do you have any other that I haven't listed here that would be helpful to any small business owner that helps them streamline their operations?
Off the top of my head, no. But there are so many products out there, and if you as a business owner, if you're sure at this point that you have the right people in the jobs, right, and you've got a process down, okay, now is where you're considering product. And I think, you know, thank you to Kristen for the question, because it's a great question. And having worked with Reed & Associates before, I can tell you that they do have the right people. They already have a process, okay, and she's in the right stage of looking for what tools can I use to support the people and the process that are already in place.
Well, and another one I just thought of is a scheduling system, like Schedulicity, or what's that other one y'all use here?
I forget what I had them do. Schedulicity or...
It's on the tip of my tongue. But it's a similar product to Schedulicity in that it's basically a calendar, but you can input client and customer information and customize it with your type of services. And so when you make these appointments, it'll give it down into blocks of time, but then you can create
acuity.
Yes, thank you. You can you can look at this appointment and go, okay, they're coming in for this service, and you have all this, a lot of information in this tiny little place. So schedulers for people who have a very intensive day-to-day, like,
a lot of
scheduling.
Client interaction.
Yeah, where they have to deal with a lot of clients and they need to keep track of who's coming in for what thing. So you definitely utilize that especially if you're a photographer or a service-based industry where you're kind of keeping up with so many people on a daily basis. And it's really helped us keep track of the day.
Yeah.
So you can get away from you really quickly. Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. If you guys have any great suggestions on tools or apps that we could that help streamline your business and your day-to-day operations, please get in touch with us and tell us on our social media at PaynePoints.com, or Facebook and LinkedIn at PaynePoints, Instagram at Payne.points, and Twitter at PointsPayne. Thanks, guys, for listening this week. We appreciate it, and we will catch you next week.